having a fantastic show, and if the first series is anything to go by, Stumpy, this is going to be an absolute doozy.
And Power are going to be looking at what Ground Zero failed to do previously, because this is where they can push themselves ahead of them in the points. You get this, you outplace your Oceanic brothers, and you make worlds. That is what is on the line. If not, they'll be playing each other in the lower rounds later on today. Or tomorrow, rather, sorry. Space Station Gaming. Or is it today?
No, it's tomorrow.
It is tomorrow. I thought it was tomorrow.
We're not sending anyone
home. No one goes
today.
home down day one. It's fine.
You got to have a bit of fun. As you said, yeah, there's probably an OCE qualification match imminent if Power can't get the job done here, but this should go a long way to their World Championship hopes. And well, for Space Station Gaming, as we said, North America, everything is still wide open. So this North American #1 seed want to prove why they are right here as Hawks are almost getting to work.
Hoxer has been one of the most mechanical looking players that we have seen, but Amphis, a couple of his goals have been beautiful as well. Even when he's not scoring, he's sending assists into the box, and I love that pass across from Torsos too. Get it down the pitch, the double from Amphis, then LJ does get a touch, and then Torsos finally can toe punt it in. Power, early lead, first minute.
Love seeing the face cams of Torsos as well. He looks locked in. I mean, we mentioned it before, but he is an absolute veteran. We're looking at the Season 3 World Championship, Stumpy, is when he debuted at it. And that was just because he could have been Season 2 or 1, but OCE wasn't in it at that point. So he has just been here for so long, and to stay at the top and still be right here is a true testament to him. And just to see him grow up has been fantastic. Not saying he was immature, just you know, seeing him get older. As you said, he's a veteran now, and Power getting to work, showing that experience with the first goal on the board.
Up to Space Station to try to shut down their Oceanic opponent much quicker than K-Corp were able to do. First 90 seconds is still going to be going in favour of Power, however. Amphis sending towards the side. Arsenal is there, ready and waiting. 60 boost. He's off. Fever take a delicate touch. Gets control, gets one race. It doesn't go too far though, and Hoxer can work his way in. LJ calls Arsenal away from that ball. Falls back down towards Hoxer. Open net. It is a conveyor belt for Space Station, and at the end they deliver a goal.
It was a great first touch from Fever, but the flip reset didn't go anywhere. It sort of baited Amphis in, and then Torsos was under the ball as well. So Space Station just winning that midfield game, getting the 50s through, and well, as you said, for Fever, he'll be wanting that touch again. Not the first touch, but maybe the second one, as Space Station do get their first goal. Perhaps a bit of a nerve settler here for this team. As we said, you know, first land as a lineup, and as you said, they only formed this split with Hoxer, the addition of Hoxer. Really unlocking LJ. I'm interested to see if LJ can continue that form that he's shown online in the spring split.
And isn't that crazy that they only just brought on Hoxer, then they immediately get the first seed? That's bonkers, and that goal finds itself equally as crazy. LJ manages to sneak one away as he rotates out. Arsenal with a completely failed flick, but then into a demo wave dash. Open net, LJ going to be the benefactor of that play from Space Station, who managed to wrestle back the lead.
It was an ugly goal with just the brute force, the physicality coming through as well. Power win the kick-off. LJ's awkward, gets a nice touch off the sidewall. Power still pushing through, but Arsenal just knows exactly where Amphis is going. This is a great touch. This has turned into one-on-one. LJ gets a huge touch. I thought he wasn't going to be able to get up in time. Oh, he leaves it for Arsenal as well. Just looking comfortable here at Space Station in defense.
Yeah, not too worried, not panicking just yet. You've got a lot of time, you've got a good few games that you can make sure to work out of. Amphis with a brilliant doink, gets over the top, can't quite manage to get it past anybody, but you always like seeing a doink on land. LJ with a beautiful pre-jump, completely shuts down attempt, but with Amphis working his way in, then one fake. Torsos up for two and a block, finally from Arsenal, but you see the ingenuity coming from Power.
Yeah, you have to come up huge here. That's a great pass to Fever. He's gone the redirect, he's put it on net, follow up Amphis. LJ gets the save, demoed in the process. Another great defensive feat there from Space Station. This time it was LJ. Torsos pushing forward. Power looking to create an attack, but these low 50s, North America, they love this. They love keeping it on, and Arsenal's positioning has been flawless so far.
Yeah, Arsenal's look great. You were talking about veteran players. He's also somebody who has been around to, I think, 6 lands or so at this point, 7 potentially. He has been to a gigantic number, and he has always had decent results. A little bit of a downturn in recent times, but he's seen better results, and he is working towards them with a team that is making him look renewed as well. And Hoxer looking renewed as well. A pinch goes high, Hoxer going to be there waiting, but Torsos snatches the ball away, sends it high. LJ back wall, doesn't block out as he gets bumped off. Amphis Comes in for one challenge. Torsos central. Fever's going to go for that sidewall pass. Does not have the angle for a shot. Amphis does, though. Up for one. The second can't quite find its way in. And then one bump falls back towards Fever in the mid. One pass across.
Great pass.
Amphis is there, but his car just not quite long enough in the little stubby Fennec.
They're certainly creating chances and they're looking for each other, which is good for Power, but they do need to find a goal here. 50 seconds left, Space Station. They've been holding on. Amphis, air dribble, dunk as well off the musty, but couldn't quite get it to work. LJ, defense has been phenomenal so far. Fever keeping the ball in. Power, the offense is relentless. This feels like I'm watching an OCE regional. Locking the ball in right now. Fever trying to be a nuisance, but he backs right off. Means LJ, I mean, if you give him space, he's going to be able to beat one, beat two. Can he beat three? Doesn't get the bump. Arsenal last man. Has to buy time. He has been so good so far. Yeah,
Arsenal's been great. Yeah, offensively, he's been making sure that he's playing selflessly as well, getting some passes in. Torsos with one fake. Amphis sends it long. The LJ on the back with 40 boost, fakes out again, takes it low. What a play from LJ. The 1-2 beat, the triple. It's going to be taking its time to come in, and it was just great game management from him. Knows that a goal is not vital. Hogs comes in for one push, saves a little bit of boost, the 50 that doesn't manage to go anywhere. Space Station, one touch to the ground is going to be huge for them. It does come. Space Station, a well-managed game number one, and welcome back Hoxer to RLCS lands.
Gets his first win in 85 years, if you don't mind, and Arsenal so solid, getting that huge touch there on 0 seconds as Power were pushing, looking for that goal. Fever, as you can see on the scoreboard, they're just not quite online just yet. 96 points, that's a rare one for him. I'm sure he'll step up, but that's a positive if they're only losing by a goal and it's that close. With Fever not quite getting involved.
And LJ, the man who's brand new here too, 667 points, a huge showing. And near enough the amount of points that everybody else in the lobby has got combined.
The impressive thing about LJ in that first game, it just felt like he was running on his own clock. He had his own time. He wasn't worried about what was happening. He was just playing at his own pace. And, I mean, the best players in the world do that. They just run, as I said, on their own clock. They just take their time. They're not too fussed about anything. And just the way he's able to beat one, beat two, get those 50s, and just not put a single foot wrong. Obviously, Arsenal was phenomenal as well. Hoxer doing his job. Everyone on Space Station, this is just what they do.
Yeah.
They might not, as you said, not have won a regional, but they just are so consistent. You have to elevate your game to beat them.
Which is weird to say about Space Station, where I feel like they very much burned bright, but then also crumbled into embers every now and then when they were the previous roster of Dan Rettles and Arsenal. You see sometimes, oh, they're so sick, but then after that it's like, oh, not actually doing that well. Torso with one pinch. Amphis comes in for the second shot. And again, the ingenuity, Power, they are inventors in their own right coming here to Boston.
Wow, that would have been an impressive start to game two. Well, Power did get the first goal of game number one, but since then it was all Space Station. Fever gets a great touch, good positioning. Hoxer cutting rotation through, but does get the 100 boost to pick up because of it. And Space Station, they seemingly are happy in defense. Power have looked threatening, however. It hasn't been all smooth sailing. Again, so far, you see Arsenal again. Space Station having all the answers. LJ going for a redirect. A fantastic pre-flip touch over the top. Torsos looking for a counter-attack. Fever's got a one-on-one and another one-on-one. Faces everyone! Fever doing it all himself. We said he needed to step up. He was asleep in game one, but he is well and truly alive in game two.
Freakish Fever, one-touch midfield. A light bump sends the player away and fakes out the second touch as well. The lead early on and near enough the same second as game number one as well. Power, what an outstanding start. And Fever, if he comes alive, Space Station Gaming going to start worrying.
Yeah, he just had the defense in a spin. He didn't actually have to do anything there, but the threat of that second flip was enough for Arsenal to flail there and get caught out. And a great start. Having said that, Space Station, they did go a goal down in game one, and then they really locked it in and found the next two. As looks like they're trying to do the same thing here. They've got the pressure off this kickoff. Ever since, that's a great touch. Everson net, poor touch. Torsos has to preach up. Arsenal throws it underneath, but Torsos keeps it in, gets it out of net. Hoxer right there getting to work.
Torsos in such an awkward position. Can't save that second shot coming in from Arsenal. The play around that final three men, it was almost like a battle of attrition, making sure that just burn their boost, get it away, get them in awkward positions, make sure they can't save it. Torsos got a great save, blind backwards, up high as well, straight above him, but it wasn't able to be cleared away. And it's a brilliant start for Space Station coming off that initial concession of a goal.
It was smart to see because Fever decided to back off in that play, and Space Station played that. They just picked them apart.
Yeah.
You know, they were expecting the shot. As Fever now, he's expecting the fake underneath, throws it across. Space Station are in spins. Airfist goes wide. Torsos put it away. It's still open. Almost disaster for Power, but they get their second on the board.
Couple of giggles on the face cam as well. Torsos, I think he goes very awkwardly for this one. That is, he leaves the ground so early, then suddenly thinks, oh my word, that's far away. Has to then send himself off to the left.
Boy.
But a brilliant workaround from him, and Power, they get an early response.
Yeah, the kickoffs have been phenomenal so far from Power as well. I know they've been working on it. Coach Jimmer, it's an open net. Fever gets the pre-flip for some style points, but Power extend their lead. That's 2 goals now.
You know what? I love a shot that looks simple, but the fact that Fever's had to jump and flip so early and make the deftest contact with the ball with full boost the entire way to get the third for Power is outstanding. And Space Station Gaming, they go down with that deficit of 2.
Arsenal off the ceiling. A whiff coming through from Fever. Torsos has to get up. Meets Hoxer in the air. Arsenal staying around here, playing a little bit more aggressive, but all Space Station are falling apart. Airfist might have an open net. LJ gets back in time. The bounce. Torsos has pre-jumped the backboard touch there from LJ, just showing the confidence again from Team Power as Airfist has to track back. The touch is poor. LJ might be able to get the shot on net. It goes low. Torsos with the touch. Fever cuts rotation. Just like we wanted Ground Zero to do in that last series. We're seeing it here from the other OCE set. The number 2, Oxer throws it on net. Again, Power having all the answers so far. The whiffs, though, they're awkward. Torsos very awkward, but he does make the save near post. Boy, oh boy, this is on right now as Space Station, they need to find 2 minutes left as well. Arsenal, time with the fake as well. Fox is looking for demos. Fever just puts himself in front of the ball and waits for the cavalry to arrive. And they do just in time. Another shot on net. Fever's awkward. This is just hold on for dear life for Power. Hoxer off the ceiling. Fever's up again. He has been enormous in offense and defense.
Had to try an angle for that block as well, Hoxer with no boost, but instead he comes in again, just above the bar. Fever, interception, sends it long. Midfield is his. Ball possession is Power's. Amphis tries to find Torsos, instead just finds a whiffing LJ, who then 50s it along with Hoxer, goes anywhere to Space Station Gaming, thankfully for them, in the final 90 seconds. Starts its torturous tick down for Space Station Gaming.
Great fake Amphis, he goes under one, throws it across the Torsos. Hoxer is there, and now Fever has to back up again. He's been enormous, his positioning's been flawless so far in defense, and he works it out with the pre-flip. Another great touch here, 1 minute 10 on the clock. Space Station still need to find 2. Arsenal flip reset, goes low, Amphis ready. Team Power still answering all of the questions of Space Station.
We saw previously as well in game number 1 that there was the continued offense broke down Power in the end. Even that one goal that Space Station have in this, it was the continued offense. Power, they've worked out a little bit. They're making sure that they aren't just throwing this ball away, and then they continue to be offensive as and when they need to be. Torsos pushing LJ to defend on the goal line there. Fever coming in, making sure that the orange side can't work themselves out of that orange side as well. Torsos up for 1. No second is going to be operating for him. Final 30 to tick down, and bumps, demos, any kind of outplays.
Look at this.
They can attempt are trying to come in, and Amphis just controls the ball for seconds on seconds.
Yeah, 10 seconds in the air now. Space Station 1, 2, 3. Amphis says no. He has been enormous for the pressure now. Can Arsenal just get one at the death? No, they can't. Torsos is there. 100 boosts to work with. Team Power, if they can maybe just get one more for some momentum, it looks like it is all over Red Rover. Power responding in fine style here in Game 2. 3-1. This OCE second seeded proving a point early.
We thought it'd be closer, and we're seeing just how well Power can play under that kind of pressure. Fever, does he normally react very much?
No.
Or is he's a lot more stoic, because Torsos in the middle of Amphis, they're popping off. They're like kids at an under-16 club.
Yeah, look, Fever can keep to himself. He's a bit up and down. You don't really know what you're going to get with him. He switches it on, switches it off, but he looks locked in, and defensively he was enormous, but also I feel like I didn't mention Amphis enough that game, because the way that he was able to just push downfield, grab their corner boost, and just be that option to get out of defense, that get out touch down the line. He's always that player that if Space Stations, if their rotations are slow, if their positioning's slow, he can be that guy that just gets in there, gets that touch, and all of a sudden Power on attack.
Space Station Gaming found themselves placed awkwardly every now and then. Not saying that Power were exactly perfect positionally, but Space Station Gaming, they definitely fell to it a little bit more often. So chance for them to improve on those, on making sure their communication is up and as intense as it needs to be for those situations. Game number 3 is going to be seeing Space Station Gaming wanting to make the point that they could be going ahead, but a 3-1 win is something that they won't be able to shrug off particularly soon. Nor should they, because Power, they look brilliant in the second.
As we said, Power as well, they do have some history against North American teams. They had a phenomenal result against G2 at the 4 major, less so against that V1 lineup, but well, it's all about play styles right now. It feels like an International Rocket League right at the top, and so far this one is dead even. You can't split them. The Space Station trying to show what they can do. Amphis doesn't get the bump. Hoxer has boost. He's going to go low. Doesn't have any support right now. LJ's waiting in the wings. Touch across. Amphis gets beaten. LJ gets 8 touches on the ball. Space Station, though, it's not going to help because Amphis has got rid of Arsenal and Power on the counter-attack. Fever trying to take it low, trying to get a 50. Doesn't quite work, but it means Torsos gets space, and now Power, can they set up some offense? Can they create it? The bumps are coming through. Is it going to be open? Amphis throws a middle. Fever dives at the ball. But phenomenal defense again under all sorts of pressure from Space Station.
Amphis saw his name up in lights. LJ on the other side does the same, just in orange instead of that blue.
Oh, great touch.
Lovely touch. Torsos down the wing. Instead, LJ removes Amphis from the play entirely. Now, starting to work their way back, and Space Station Gaming demoing, sending some lasers down from space.
There's Amphis again. Just look at that redirect. He couldn't get the touch that time, but I love the confidence. This is what we see online from him and why they're so threatening at all angles. Even when they're in defense, it feels like they can get out. A double commit there. Torsos helping out Fever, getting bumped. He's got no boost. Amphis has to make a touch. He's been bumped. It's got to be open.
Bump.
And Space Station open it up in game 3.
A beautiful bump for the rookie. Finds itself on a defender from Power. He also takes that first touch. A lateral bump too. Much harder to get. Trying to make sure that you're working across with a couple more dimensions rather than just straight forward on a couple of the plays that we've seen previously. Space Station Gaming, that lead after 1:40 may well prove vital.
Yeah, Power have won another kickoff. LJ, he was getting bumped by Amphis. He dodges it, but Amphis is downfield again. He finds Fever. Can he find the touches wide off the corner? Torsos follow-up blocked again. That could have been the shot. That could have been the equaliser.
That should have been the shot. That should have been the equaliser. It was a 1-2-3 play, but Fever just did not quite have the precision that he needed to make sure it's find its way on net.
Amphis hitting down again. Torsos gets a big beat. Arsenal having to find a couple. He is awkward, but Hox is ready. Amphis again, if we have a stat of how many corner boosts he's taken from Space Station, it's going to be pretty ridiculous, that number here. The 50 coming through. Fever's awkward front post, beat out by LJ. Torsos has to get the touch, and he does so.
Shoot.
Now it's a one-on-one downfield. Arsenal just trying to get bumped. Fever trying to force something. Amphis is ready, but the pinch is too hard. And now it's a counter-attack from Space Station, but that is gone as quickly as it started.
Amphis again shutting down the counter-attack that we're seeing from Space Station. He goes up, goes to that 50. Instead, Hoxer is there to respond. 2:15. Torsos, one shot on target.
Bump.
Lets it drop straight towards the goal. Amphis now up yet again, shut down by Arsenal. Much more veteran of these players. Fever into the corner with 150 boost. Can then get the second. Picks up the corner 100 again. 50 does not quite go the way that Power wanted. Wants that to be a lot
Here
more
it is.
central. That's 1, that's 2, that's a bump. That's not quite a goal coming through. And Power, they're looking like they're rushing a lot, trying to make sure that Space Station have no time to recover. But 2 100 boost pads picked up for SSG.
Yeah, they're all over them. They just can't find that finishing touch here. And Space Station do find it out. Torsos with the touch across. Amphis is just, he's rotating by himself right now. He's just in his own world, and that's how they play. There's a shot on net. No, it goes wide. The bounce shot just couldn't get under it. Now Fever has to get the 50. Does so. Arsenal tracking back. Torsos with low boost just has to throw it to the corner and try and wait for the teammates, wait for some support. The touch central is going to be met with a 50. LJ's awkward. Fever throwing himself out the ball as well. This is counter-attack central. Now Amphis last man has to get the touch, but each side, both sides stepping up when they need to.
This is absolute end-to-end. It's a great fake, it's a great shot. It's an even better save. Arsenal proving to be the man on that final side. A counter-attack again. It's been around 19 in a row so far. Nothing in the midfield. Completely end-to-end. Torsos finally taking a touch. Amphis sending it long. Fever can't quite intercept before Arsenal makes his mark on that ball.
Oh, that's a great beat. It's got to be open. Can Arsenal find it? No, he's looking for bums. LJ goes for the double instead. Calls Arsenal off. And the touch wasn't on target. That was an open opportunity there for Space Station. Couldn't quite get it to work. They're still with the lead. They're still holding on. And Power still need to find it. Hoxer, huge beat. Torsos last. Very awkward. The fake coming through. Torsos is level to the challenge. Amphis now with the counter-attack. Can they get to work? Can they find it? 25 on the clock.
Shut down completely now as Torsos manages to push forward for Power. That's going to bounce awkwardly. Arsenal there is going to be the man to the ball first. LJ is wanting to maintain this possession. Amphis up for one. LJ not that second, but Amphis is there yet again. 40 boost as well. He's got a great chance for a shot here.
He's got a great chance. Torsos double commit. They have to now. They have to throw everything at this Power. Amphis with a beat out. Arsenal's ready in the corner. Fever throwing himself. Space Station need to find the ground, and they do. Great touch from LJ. Space Station get the lead.
Woo! Huge plays from both teams. I felt like nobody had a breather there for the last, I don't know, 4 minutes, 59 seconds of that game. And huge plays coming out from Space Station just managed the game as best as they could. The demos from LJ manages to secure 5 in that game alone. Hoxer looking relatively invisible, and yet they still get that win. But he was more playing off the ball, making sure that he wasn't necessarily just going for the shots. You see him with literally zeros across the board apart from that single demo.
Yeah, he's got the donuts on the scoreboard there, Hoxer, but that's promising from Space Station if they are able to get that win. As we said, if he can step up, they could really run away with this one. They do take that all-important game number 3. They take the lead in the series. They move on to match point. It has been back and forth. It sums it up. The games, the stories, the series, everything right now. And well, it just feels about like who gets that first goal, who gets the momentum early on, because feels right now Amphis is the player from Power if they are going to be able to get out of defense and get that midfield control, get those extra touches, steal the boost, get the bumps. And for Space Station, it's been LJ, as you said, 5 demos in that game. That he's been that facilitator. Sometimes we expect Arsenal to be that player, but Arsenal's almost played that defensive rock, if you would, which has been unusual for him. Off the kickoff, top corner saved. Again, a huge touch from Hoxer. Power's kickoffs have been sensational this entire series, but they haven't got a goal, they haven't got that reward so far.
I want a full Johnny Boy breakdown of how Power have been managing to win every single kickoff too. Because it's something that I think a lot of teams just don't really care about, but it's made sure that Space Station haven't just run away with a couple of these goals. Hoxer with one reset. My word, over the top. A brilliant play as Power utterly shut down. Yeah, the bump, the impending bump actually secured the goal there, because I think it was Fever in net, had to dodge the bump. He had to go underneath, but it just meant the flip reset, although it didn't have an enormous amount of power, it had enough. The team plays, and this teamwork from Space Station, this is what we've seen online from them. They are a well-oiled machine, and they get the all-important first goal of potentially the final game for them. That's what they want. Fever's got a reset. He's got a musty, and he's got the goal. The bump down one end and the bump down the other. Power level it up. Not just about that musty, as you say, CJ. To the ceiling, he does get it, but look at Amps' positioning. Forces LJ to go for in and out save, and I love that you see Fever. He shoots low on it as well, because if that's high, LJ, there's more of a chance for him to get to it. An awkward low shot coming from the ceiling. They are nigh impossible, especially with the in and out bump coming in as well. An equaliser for Power keeps them alive in the series. Yeah, and another kickoff win as well. They get possession, they get the ball, but Space Station in net, huge whiff. Arsenal one-on-one, throws the flick on net. Fever dives across. He's going to have to make another one, and he does. You betcha. Huge save from Fever. The whiff's coming out from Space Station. He's still cooking. He's still getting to work. Can he throw it across? Arsenal being bumped. Now Amphis off the ceiling. Hoxer with a huge touch. Power, all because of Fever, have found an offense. Fever's movement through that defense is gigantic. A shot on target, saved away by LJ in that opportunity. 0 for Arsenal, but he maintains this possession. Shoots just wide of the net. Fever now to continue down, gets counter-pinched by Hoxer. Minute 30 gone. This series and this game continuing to be as high octane as we were promised. Great bumps, Amphis. He's getting to work. There was a triple commit from Space Station, means Power are going to have an offense for a little while now. They're low on boost. Torsos passes ball across. Amphis gets beaten out by Hoxer. That's a huge touch. Fever has to come across, does so, finds his teammate down the line, finds Amphis. Arsenal, so awkward. Can a shot come through? Where's Fever? He goes to the corner. He plays the long game. Torsos, 100 boost, tries to find the bump, but he gets bumped onto the ball in the process. Plays possession, does Power there in that opportunity. Instead, it does not lead to a goal, but it makes sure the Space Station play awkward. Chance here. Hoxer gets beaten out by Amphis. Torsos relatively open, just needs a low 50. Arsenal is stronger than him until Fever finds his way through. The second for the man, who underperformed earlier in this series, but is now on fire.
He is locked in, and they just walk the ball in there. LJ's rotation too slow. The double commit front post from Space Station, and Power do get the lead. It has been back and forth. Space Station take game 1, Power with 2, Space Station with 3. Are we going to see Champfield another game 5 here on the B stream or the CJ and Stumpy mainstream?
Halfway through the game, we see Ampis midfield, finds Fever, finds that top corner. Arsenal, though, defending it valiantly. 15 boost, Ampis attempting to get around the side of Hoxha, isn't quite able to. Back down towards LJ, Torsos with a low 50. Really starting to play that game a lot better now, taking their inspiration from their kickoffs, and those 50s going the way of Power more and more often. That's an awkward touch, though, and it falls to Arsenal. The speed beats out Power's defense.
The pure threat of LJ was huge, and the dunk, it wasn't even a dunk, it was just Amphiss leaning back, but Space Station just ready to finish off.
And it was Torsos, he didn't quite trust his teammate either. He jumps, he tries to go for something a little bit more of a traditional save, ends up just completely throwing that play away entirely with Space Station. They capitalise 2-all.
Can they get another one here? Can they get the lead out of nowhere? It was Fever and Team Power defensively and offensively getting to work. Another double commit here from Power in defense. They're looking a little bit shaky with 2 minutes left. No team really wants to overcommit. A great beat. Amphiss pushing downfield, going for a bump, going for another bump. Torsos tries to get the touch. LJ helping Arsenal out, and now Fever has to track back. It's Arsenal, it's Fever, it's all Arsenal. He's doing it all himself, and Space Station take the lead.
It's all Arsenal, baby! From the midfield, he collects the ball, one flick, and then the second to touch it in. Amphiss, you do not have the power to beat down the man with more charisma than anybody I've ever seen.
They've got the 2-goal lead. They got the comeback, should I say. 2 goals in a row from Space Station. Fever now again, another kickoff win from Power. The whiff coming through, follow up Torsos, but Hoxha gets a huge save and keeps Space Station in the lead.
That lead can be ever so important entering the final 90 seconds too. Fever shooting, Hoxha to catch, pulls it back down towards LJ. Awkward touch actually there from Arsenal, and a double commit sees it then come down to a 3v1.
Oh, LJ getting to work. Oh, and he just beats Fever. He's got no boost, but he just finds a way through. Sometimes these nameplates you see on the field just have a presence about them, and LJ has gone to work so far this series. He's been phenomenal here. First major for this lineup for Space Station. Arsenal pop over the top. Is this going to be it? Fever gets a touch. Torsos trying to force the ball downfield, but he fakes it out. Amphiss with the 50. No boost to work with. LJ, Arsenal, double commit there, but they still find a way out. Torsos so awkward, but LJ goes wide with 45 seconds left. What did Team Power have in store? Can they find a way, or are they going to be sent to the lower bracket?
Arsenal chances, finds Hoxha with one fake. Fever now on his own backline with 100 boost, sends it high. Amphiss there for one block, can't quite get LJ away from that play, however. Torsos again, more challenges, more chances, they just keep ticking away.
Yeah, great touch as well. Fever, they're working Amphiss. Can he get the pop over the top? Arsenal, it's just so poised, so composed in defense there now. 19 seconds left. Amphiss has boost off the ceiling. What can he do? He goes around trying to keep the ball in, trying to keep the offense, but Space Station have all the answers.
Touching for the sake of touching the ball is not going to get you a goal, and Hoxha finds Arsenal, finds the net. Another chance, 3 seconds. Final opportunity, Power to stay alive. Torsos is up. Torsos shoots! The pre-jump is not enough. Space Station Gaming take down OCE.
Such a strong performance from Space Station Gaming. Power, they can hold their heads high as well. That was certainly a series, and they made it one, but Space Station getting the win 3-1. A great start for the #1 seed coming out of North America. And we're moving on into that upper quarter final as Power, both OCE teams now, Stumpy, are in the lower bracket, and they are going to be looking at each other eye to eye tomorrow. Winner makes the World Championships.
Unbelievable stakes. Something that we thought could happen. Something that we thought, you know, there was the opportunity where we might see the Rocket League gods align. RLCS, maybe, just maybe they're going to be kind to us, and we do get that matchup. But Space Station Gaming, I said I had question marks about how they would perform. That was brilliant. And I loved seeing what LJ was able to do. Arsenal, though, defensively and offensively, he was everywhere, and he looked so strong. Yeah, and we talk about Hoxha as well. Well, we haven't really talked about him too much, but he has been, you know, he didn't put a foot wrong that series either. There were no glaring mistakes from Space Station, and really that sums up their online split. They just don't make mistakes, and you have to, if you're going to score, if you're going to beat this team, you have to play well. You have to really outplay them. They're not going to give you those free goals.
And in the end, Space Station just brute force, got the job done. A fantastic start to their major as well. If there's ever going to be anyone doubting this team, this #1 seed, it's got to be early on in the tournament. But a great way to start it, and if they can use that momentum, they will be, well, they could run away all the way through the winners' final. We don't know what's going on with North America, but we do know that OCE are both down in the lower bracket early. They had to throw them on. They had to get them down there straight away. A little bit disappointing, but as we said, there weren't sweeps. We saw Ground Zero go to 5. We saw Power. Could have gone to 5 against Space Station, certainly looking strong.
CJ?
Stumpy, we've got plenty more games coming up, though.
We have got plenty more games, and our next series is something that I think a lot of people are going to be very, very excited for.
Elevate.
There's a little player called Zen, and he is about to make his RLCS debut here in Boston. It is Vitality versus Elevate after the break.